Hello, it's chapter 11 uh, of the reading that's been that we've been going through. It's called The Advent of Glory by R.C. Sproul. Um, and the title of this chapter is called Bethlehem. It starts with the great 20th century filmmaker Cecil B. DeMille was famed for the epic scale of his productions. His 1952 film, The Greatest Show on Earth, a drama set in a traveling circus, involved more than 80 real life circus acts and hundreds of animals, including elephants, monkeys, and big cats, plus a spectacular set piece involving a wrecked train. The movie cost $4 million. That's about $40 million in today's money, and made far more. No one could have any doubt that DeMille and the film company that backed him were wealthy, clever, and powerful. But God is not like Cecil DeMille. God brings the mighty out of the small. One of my favorite Old Testament prophecies about the Messiah is found in a somewhat obscure portion of one of the lesser known minor prophets, Micah 5. This chapter opens with an announcement of doom and judgment. The land will be attacked and afflicted. Now muster your troops, O daughter of troops. Siege is laid against us. With a rod they strike the judge of Israel on the cheek. Micah chapter 5, verse 1. One of the functions that the prophets in the Old Testament served was to act as prosecuting attorneys for God. The prophet's task was to serve a court summons to a guilty people who had violated the terms of the covenant or their contract, if you like, with God. These prosecutors would call the people to account and then pronounce God's sentence of judgment upon them. Yet, at the same time, when God sent his prophets to pronounce these verdicts of judgment against the people, he would always temper that justice with mercy. There was always a however, always a promise of his ultimate work of redemption contained within that threat. And so, in the midst of this prophecy of judgment, there comes a little breath of fresh air, a brief statement of good news. But you, O Bethlehem, who are too little to be among the clans of Judah, from you shall come forth for me one who is to be ruler in Israel, whose coming forth is from of old, from ancient days. Therefore, he shall give them up until the time when she who is in the labor has given birth. Then the rest of his brothers shall return to the people, uh, of Israel, and he shall stand and shepherd his flock in the strength of the Lord, in the majesty of the name of the Lord his God. And they shall dwell secure, for now he shall be great to the ends of the earth, and he shall be their peace. Here are some themes that we see frequently in Old Testament prophecies of the coming Messiah, in which we'll see more of in the next few chapters of this book. He is the one who will come as a king like David. He will rescue his people. He will redeem those who remain faithful to the promises of God. He will bring peace. But what's special about this particular prophecy is its beginning. It's astonishing to me that centuries before the birth of Christ, the town that was specifically mentioned as the future birthplace of the Messiah King was a tiny apparently insignificant village, too little to be among the clans of Judah. You would think that the Messiah would have been destined to be born in Jerusalem, at Mount Zion in the holy city, the place that David had established as the central sanctuary and the capital of the whole nation. Instead, it was in Bethlehem. Bethlehem is about 4.5 miles south of Jerusalem. Even today, it is not a big place. You can still see the shepherds herding their sheep in the fields around it. In Micah's time, it was even more insignificant. But from it came one of the but from it but it came sorry, but from it came one who would be great to the very ends of the earth. God works like that. There are big, spectacular set pieces sometimes, but more often, isn't it the little things he chooses? The womb of a girl nobody had ever heard of, the hillside scattered with sheep, the town easily forgotten, a criminal's cross in my life and your life. In what ways do you feel little? What difference does it make to know that God is the one who brings the mighty out of the small? And as always, there's a prayer at the end of each chapter. And it reads, "O Jesus, I am astounded that you, the King of the universe, chose to be born in a parking lot behind a Bethlehem hotel with a blinking no vacancy sign. You incarnated yourself inside the frail frame of a poor peasant girl, and you chose an animal shed for her delivery room. You chose to announce your Messiah manifesto to a ragtag group of scuffy shepherds. Oh, this Advent, help me to understand that this is the way you work. You take delight in choosing the unlikely, the unloving, and the poorly gifted. I marvel at how this turns up the wattage on your glory. So here at year's end, I commit not to cherish inflated ideas of how my own importance, but humbly lower myself before your majesty. I lay my Christmas gift at your feet, yielding my weakness for your kingdom purposes, for the glory and honor of Jesus. Amen." Yet again, we come to the end of another reading. This was chapter 11, so we're getting close. But thank you for listening to the Advent of Glory by R.C. Sproul.